Their emotions are beginning to rise up. So every one of you who is monogamous, listening to this broadcast, but even if you're searching for truth, I need to tell you that you are in a polygamous relationship if you have a state license. Satan has substituted the true pattern of biblical marriage. So there are three partners in your marriage. It is your husband, your lover, your husband, ladies, I'm talking to you too. Your husband, you, and the state. And it's a polygamous relationship. What Yahuwah has done, what Satan has done is taken Yahuwah out of the picture and put in another secular party to speak into a covenant of faith based on the promises, the irrefutable and immutable promises of Yahuwah, whose promises are faithful and true, and all the promises in him are what? Yea and amen. So don't think that those of you who are living monogamously with a state-sanctioned marriage license are immune from polygamy. You are, in fact, the state. You have invited the state to be a third party in your relationship. It's too late now, because what the state gives, the state can take away, and Yahuwah is out of the equation. The state has replaced. It's also replacement theology. For all you Messianics who are so concerned about the church replacing Israel and replacing the Jews as Israel, there's other kind of replacement theologies, not just that kind. Are you with me? And one of those replacement theologies, the state has replaced Yahuwah in terms of who's allowed to do what in the relationship and in the marriage. In other words, if a woman wants to divorce her husband, she can go to Caesar, the state. If a husband wants to divorce, have an unbiblical divorce with his wife, he also can go to Caesar, to the state. Whereas the Torah and the word of Yahweh is very specific what is and what is not a divorceable offense. According to Yeshua and Matityahu, Matthew 19, there is nothing that's a divorceable offense. The only matter of uncleanness is the adultery, the unfaithfulness of the partners, or the fornication of the partners, or the withholding, defrauding one of another, and the breaking of the covenant, or the abusive, which is hating one's own flesh. No man hated his own flesh. So most of you, sadly, didn't know this, and you don't know this, and you probably won't know this unless you want to know this. In order for you to know this, you have to want to know this. Now, if they did engage in a kind of ritual marking a family union, Adam and Lilith or Adam and Eve, if there was a ritual, it is doubtful there were any witnesses, any moral witnesses, state witnesses, unless maybe it was the fish, or the jellyfish, or the starfish, but there were no human witnesses, state witnesses, statutory witnesses to their sacred commitment and their new family identity. In a world void of civil government, Adam and Lilith, Adam and Eve, formed and maintained a family unit, the first earthly civilization in microcosm. The truth is self-evident that the family defines itself by virtue, the energy of compassion, the tender emotions that bind individuals into a societal unit. No civil government, no church, no synagogue, no third party other than Yahuwah has the power to legislate or decree the love that binds individuals to each other in a family relationship. Each family is like a kingdom. You are free to be the king, man, the Kohen, the priest, and ladies, you are free and should be treated as the queen. You are building a tribe. You are building a kingdom within this world system. A kingdom that will survive this world system if it's biblical, and if it's a biblical marriage and you keep the state out of your business. And it'll be a unit that will be transferred from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of his dear son, and right into the millennial rule and reign of Yeshua on the earth. You're setting it up now. You're setting up a biblical marriage with your wife or wives now, so that you can it'll transfer right into the coming of the kingdom, because it'll survive. Soon everything that can be shaken will be shaken. The Bible tells us, and only those things that cannot be shaken will survive. So when we're building this kingdom, this little kingdom or this little tribe, it is built to withstand the rain and the wind and the floods, and to be carried and transferred over into the next age, the Olam Haba and the Atid Lavo. The binding of families exists only within the boundaries of liberty and freedom by the choice of every individual. Once these feelings exist, these feelings, this covenant can only be abolished or abandoned or destroyed by the individuals, not by the government. The family institution is self-sufficient. It functions within itself. It's nuclear. It produces and functions and reproduces within itself. The family institution exists only within freedom and liberty. This is self-evident. The family is a self-defined entity that exists by the choice of the individuals involved and held together by love, by virtue, by action, and by the power of human compassion. In our early history, the early history of mankind, the first families gathered together and formed communities, moshavs, communities, to provide order to their society. Each family sent representatives to a community council or tribal council, forming the first civil governments and the first civil government entities. The family existed before and is the founder of civil government. This is self-evident. I'll say that again. The family existed before and is the founder of all civil government. The government is not the foundation. The family is the foundation that gets together to form a government of families. Are you with me? To form a government of families. The family is a sovereign entity, self-defined, existing way before civil government, and independent of its approval. Civil government is a creation of the family, and responsible to the family, and accountable to the family, and it is not a creation apart from the human family. It is created by the family. The government, the state, does not create families. The families creates the civil authorities and the governments. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of our society. The family is entitled to protection by society and the state created by the family to represent the family. We see that in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 16(3). Now we're going to talk a little bit about the 10th Amendment to our Constitution. The 10th Amendment reads as follows: the powers that are not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Let me say that again. The powers not delegated to the U.S., meaning the government, the federal government, by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states or to the people. I'll say it, to the states, not in place of the people, but or the people. That's the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Again, this message: is plural marriage really illegal in the United States? Is it the law of the land that polygamy is not legal? Is it the law of the land? No, it's not, and you'll find out why if you stay tuned to this entire series. In Reynolds versus the United States in 1879, the Supreme Court justices unanimously supported the Morrell anti-bigamy law of 1862 against a constitutional challenge based upon freedom of religion. In this written opinion, Morrell anti-bigamy law of 1862, and then the case Reynolds versus U.S., 1879, Chief Justice Morrison R. Waite argued that every government had the power to decide whether Plural marriage or monogamy should be the basis of social life. I'll say that again.